Okay, hello everybody. I'm going to give you a few tips and tricks for things you can do in your gradebook, Speedgrader, and course analytics. This will be divided up into three different sections. The first section, we're going to look at the different views in your gradebook, zeroing items out, filters you can use, ways to message students from the gradebook, and different icons. There are two places you can message students from. One is from the gradebook, one is from course analytics. We'll cover that in the third section. So let's start with the gradebook. In your gradebook, you'll notice that anything that you have unpublished, any assignments that you are not giving your students to do that are unpublished, they won't show up if you've unpublished them. They don't show up in the modules, but they do show up in the gradebook still. And assuming you don't want, I'm sorry, that you don't want to see those in your gradebook right here, let me get my little pointer out so you can actually see what I'm looking at. Okay, so assuming you don't want to see those here, then all you need to do is click on the little gear in the top right-hand corner. You see here's your grade book and you see those unpublished items. Click on the gear, then click on View Options. And then down in this box under Show, you'll see the second option here is Unpublished Assignments. You do not want to show them, so you make sure that box is not checked. If it is checked, you will see the unpublished items just like you see on the screen here. The other thing to take a look at in this View Options section is Arrange By. This is where you can decide how you want the gradebook assignments listed. So starting from left to right, do you want them to go from oldest to newest, from newest to oldest? There's a bunch of options here in this box. So click on that, look at the options, and you decide which one is best for you. And then make sure you click Apply Settings at the bottom or you'll lose all the choices you've just made. After you do that, another important thing that you want to do is move the gradebook total column to the front of the gradebook. When the course is set up, the total column is all the way to the right. And if you have a lot of assignments, that's a lot of scrolling to go see what a student's total score is. It's much more natural to have this total column right next to the students' names. So all you need to do is go to the far right to the total column. And when you get to it, click on the three little dots and then choose Move to Front. And that will magically move it to the front of the gradebook. Okay, the next thing is zeroing out. You can zero things out in a couple different ways. Canvas created quizzes and TGAs can be zeroed out by going to the gradebook settings that you were just looking at, and instead of view options that we just looked at, choosing late policies. And then in there, you can check the box that says automatically apply grade for missing submissions and put a 0 and then click apply settings. That will automatically put a 0 after the due date passes for any Canvas created quiz or TGA. It will not put the missing tag on the gradebook item in the gradebook. And this method will only work for TJs and Canvases that are created in Canvas, not the Learnosity Summit quizzes or any external learning platform quizzes. So this is one way you can automatically apply zeros for some items. It doesn't do everything though. For the external learning tool quizzes, the Summit quizzes and tests, you can go to the actual assignment or quiz in your gradebook and click on the three little dots next to it. And then you can set the default grade. And when you do that, you can set the default grade to whatever score you want. If the due date has passed, you can set it to a 0 and you can tell it to only apply to the assignments to the students who have not submitted something, and it will put zeros in there. Again, though, this will not add the missing tag to those gradebook items. So you can zero them out this way, for the external learning tool quizzes and tests and the Canvas ones, the two options I just showed you. But there's a better way to do it that will also add a missing status tag. So if you go to your gradebook and you go to your total column, the one we just moved to the front, you can click on that and choose apply score to ungraded. When you do that, you will find a box here that says apply score to ungraded, and you will put a 0 in for the grade, and you can choose to apply the missing status. This will put that tag on these items. And you can choose to apply it to only ungraded assignments. It won't matter if they are external learning tools or Canvas created tools, all the assignments that are past due. So this is the best way to do it because it's going to put a 0 on everything that is past due and put the missing status on there. Now, if you were to choose all ungraded artifacts, it would also put zeros on items that aren't due yet. You don't want to do that. So word on the street is that if you do it this way, when the student does actually turn in the assignment, the missing tag goes away. So this is what we are recommending you use to apply zeros. Don't forget apply score. That's always important. Okay, another thing teachers may not be aware of is that you can use gradebook filters to sort through your students, the periods, cohort groups, and assignments. So when you're in your gradebook, on the top left-hand corner, you'll see apply filters. So you can choose to either use the search bar and search for a specific student to pull them up, or you can use the filters over here and you can search by lots of different options, by sections, by different class periods, different cohort groups, whatever filters you find there, you can use. So sometimes that's helpful if you just want to see all of your cohort 3 students because you want to go through and excuse them, something like that. These filters are available in your gradebook. You might have missed that because there's so much to look at, but search student and apply filter, both there. So here's some examples of different things you can filter and search for. So in this case, we're on a specific assignment. And well, first we've applied the filter and we've looked for just students who are in this period 3. Once we've done that, we have all these students and we're looking at this assignment and now we're going to filter even further. We're going to sort them by their grades, low grade to high grade, or those who have missing assignments, those MIs that we just talked about, late assignments, excused assignments. So all of those, unposted is good too. You can search for all those. So lots of options for filtering the gradebook. Now there's one other thing you can do from within the gradebook. There's 2 different ways that you can message students from within the course. One is from the gradebook itself. One is from the course analytics. We'll get to that when we get to section 3. But right now within the gradebook, you can go to an assignment. You can click on message students who, and then you can make a choice of which students. There's a bunch of different options here, but let's say you want to message students who haven't submitted the assignment. You can click on that. You can skip excuse students. It'll tell you how many students are there. You can include or not include the observers. That would be their learning coaches. And then you can type your message and you can send. So that's one really good way to message students using your gradebook. We're going to come back to another way you can message students in just a few minutes. There's one other thing I want to show you in the gradebook though before we move on. Inside your gradebook, you will see different icons. And I just want to point out what some of these icons mean. This one right here looks like a paper with an exclamation point. This means there's a submission for that assignment that has not yet been graded. Now, I've had teachers say, well, I went in, I graded it. The assignment's been graded and it's showing that again. Or, I don't know why. There's a couple things that can happen that would cause that. If you click on it again, you'll usually see what it is. Sometimes you graded it, but you forgot to click the little submit at the very bottom. So the grade didn't actually post. Sometimes students have turned in multiple versions of it, so there might be 2 or 3 more, but there should be a grade there anyway if you have graded one of those. but you might see that as well. The other thing is teachers ask sometimes, well, what do these colors mean? So there's two different colors here. You've got the colors of the boxes themselves. So gray, red, gray, yellow, blue. So those are over here on the left. You can see that I'm sorry, up here at the top. You can see that where did I lose my things? Okay, the tags. The tags are either red or yellow or orange, and you can see the matching items over here. So if you create a Turnitin assignment, the gradebook displays Turnitin score icons in the gradebook. So to view the details of the score, you'll click on the icon. So these little icons indicate how much of a similarity there was, how much AI noticed using Turnitin. So if it's red, you're down here at a 75 to 100% matching text in this assignment. So you might want to click on that little icon to see what Turnitin had to say. Um, Over here, you've got some yellow ones, some orange ones. So it gives you an idea of what percentage of the text matches. If there's an exclamation icon, that means there was an error and that the Turnitin wasn't able to generate a report. So keep that in mind as well. So when I'm talking about these colors, I'm talking about the like sticky notes. Could not think of the word for that. The sticky notes, not the color of the box itself. Those have different colors with different meaning too. But these sticky notes, they're directly related to Turnitin. Okay. The second part, Speedgrader. Ways to access it, options you have, and sorting. So from the gradebook, there's three different ways you can get to Speedgrader. From the gradebook, you can go to grades. You can hover over the cell for the assignment you want to grade, click these three little dots in that cell and select Speedgrader. From the module itself, you can click on the assignment name, and on the assignment page, you can click Speedgrader. Or from the assignment page, if you're already there, you can click on the assignment name and click Speedgrader. So there's a couple options, and you can see here's the assignment name. And when you click on it, you'll see Speedgrader over in the top right-hand corner. So there are three ways to get there. And then once you're in there, this is something a lot of teachers have asked about and maybe missed. Over on the top left-hand corner, there are options. There's a little gear. If you click on that option, it'll give you an option of how to see the assignments that have been turned in. So it's how do you sort your students in your list of assignments? Are you going to sort the assignment turn-ins by the student's name alphabetically, regardless of when they turned them in, or by the date they submitted the assignment, by the status, whether it needs grading, whether it hasn't been submitted, whether you're going to randomize it? You can even randomize the students within the status. So, and there's a box here you can hide the student name if you're worried that you're going to be prejudiced in some way towards certain students or whatever. So that is how you can sort the ways that you see the assignments that students turn in. Okay, the last section is on course analytics. So this is a section a lot of teachers haven't even looked at yet. So we're just going to look at the display, messaging, and data. I'm going to give you a link. I'm going to just put this in the chat, and hopefully even in the recording, you'll be able to have access to that. I'm not sure if you will or not, but there is a link to the Level Up slides that talk about the course analytics. So if you want more information than what I'm giving you here, you can click on that as well. Okay, so course analytics. On your course, when you are in your course, you can see on the right-hand side on your home page a box that says course analytics. Now, when you click on that, it's going to take you to a page that has four different options across the top. You can choose between course grade. So you're looking at analyzing what's happening in the course by the course grade, the weekly activity, your students, or by reports. You can also sort by the different sections or students in the course. You can also view over here on the right, either in a data table, for those of you who are more interested in rows and data, or by shapes, for those of you who are more global and like to see this bigger view. So we're going to take a look at those things. Under course grade, I have it right now in this picture as a data table because my brain works better with that, with everything in a list. You can have it on display shapes though and have it more like that last screen with the dots all over. Totally up to you. When you're in there, you will see all of the assignments and you can look at all the sections. There's a lot of different options here to play around with. Look at specific students. You can click on, let's say this assignment, this unit test, you want to get some analytics on that assignment, and here's the course grade. The average was 86.7 for that particular assignment. So you click on that, and when you do that, what you're going to see is the average grade. You're going to see how many students were missing the assignment, how many students turned it in late. You're going to get a little bit of data here that's more visual. But most importantly, up in the top right-hand corner, remember I said at the beginning that there's two ways to message students from within the course? This is the other way from Course Analytics. You're going to have a little email icon. You can click on that, and this will give you the option to message students who, and you can choose here for this specific assignment, the ones that were missing. If you clicked missing, it would go to that one student. If you missed late, it would go to those 21 students. If you do score range and you say every student who got 0 to 59.5%, so, or 59.4%, so basically every student who failed, you enter a subject and you can send the message to them. You'll notice that there's not the option here, like there is in the one from the gradebook, where it says to message students or observers, to include them or not. It will automatically include the observers in this total. There's not 128 students in this class. There's probably 60 or 70, and the extra numbers are the observers. Okay, so you can make a message and send it there. And these messages will go to the student's Canvas email box. LCs will receive a copy of this email if you do it from Course Analytics. If you do it from the gradebook, you have the option of including the observers or not. So that's information you can do with that what you like. Okay, and then the last part was just going to be if you have any questions, requests, or ideas. And since this is a recording, I guess you don't get to ask any. I'm sorry. But I am going to take a second and see if I'm able to put this link, since this is a recording. I just want to put it one more time in the chat, and hopefully you guys can get it from the chat for those Canvas links. Okay, I hope that was helpful to you. Have a wonderful day. Give me a yell if you have questions.